Hey guys, you're watching BTech. I'm Basil and this is my Zenfone for 24-hour in review. After 24 hours, first thing I did was swapped out the launcher. I've got EV Launcher on here. I'm not a big fan of Zen UI, but I am pretty much a big fan of everything else on this phone. I'll come on to why in a sec, but before I do, if you're not already subscribed to BTech, subscribe. It's how you stay on top of everything that we do. Lots more on this phone, but let's start by talking around the design. 5.5-inch display, capacitive buttons either side of the fingerprint scanner below the display, super fast to respond fingerprint scanner, very reliable, unlocks nicely. 8-megapixel front camera, around the back, 2 cameras, one 12-megapixel, one 8-megapixel. 8-megapixel is 120-degree wide angle, just like the LG G6, for example. What you can also expect is a metal frame. The glass back has a gorgeous, gorgeous finish. This is going to cost £449. In that kind of price range, there are a lot of other phones, OnePlus 5. There's also the Honor 9 for a little bit less. But how does this one fit in? Well, for starters, it's the only one with optical image stabilization as part of the dual camera setup, which is a nice touch. So it's great Asus has managed to get that one in there. It's got a Snapdragon 630 under the hood with 4 gig of RAM, so plenty of RAM, but the 630 is a little bit less powerful. But what that also means is it delivers amazing battery life, like really, really good. I woke up at like 5 a.m. today and you can see my battery's at like 38%, 4:51 p.m., actually 3:51 because I'm in a different time zone now. But what that means is it's definitely got more than a day of battery out of this thing, despite its nice big screen. It is a big phone. I'm a big guy, so I don't mind, but if you have smaller hands, you may want to consider that. Generally speaking, I'm a fan of the design, available in 3 colors, a mint one, I think a white one, and also this gorgeous black one that we've got. The spiral design around the back is really unique. It isn't the curved glass of the Honor, so it doesn't necessarily feel as ergonomic, but I do think it actually does look a little bit better. Right, let's get talking about the screen. IPS display. It's not going to be as deep, punchy, poppy as AMOLEDs, but it has great viewing angles, and it goes up to 600 nits in terms of brightness. So really nice and bright. I've got auto brightness switched on, so I can thwack the brightness all the way up. Well, let's get that on there, and bam. As you can see, I've got outdoor light streaming in, so it's only just viewable now, but as soon as I pull down my notification shade, it's going to blow the camera out, which is exactly what you want it to be doing if it is a super bright phone. So let's drop that down a little bit and let's start talking you around the user interface. So I've said I swapped out Zen UI, which is the main UI operating system home screens. It sits on top of Android 7. I wish Asus had gone a bit more stock, but what I've done is I've thrown EV Launcher on here, my favorite launcher at the moment. Where Asus's changes are really welcome and they're nice and meaningful is in places like the notifications tray. If I tap on the quick toggle, you can see we've got loads and loads of sound customizations, and these are really handy. You can also set profiles to different headsets, which is excellent, really handy stuff. You've also got a whole load of other options. Power boost, there are some gaming options as well that let you record your games and stuff. And in the settings, if I jump into the display options, there are also customizations to the screen color mode as well. So it's definitely more than stock in a good and a bad way. Bad way in terms of the user interface, it's replaceable, but good way in terms of the user interface, it isn't replaceable. You can also customize these options really extensively, as you can see. So I really am enjoying using this, despite not necessarily having loved the launcher out of the box. What you also get on here is a Snapdragon 630 with 4 gig of RAM, so user interaction is really nice and snappy. It's not going to be the best benchmarking phone around, but it does the job. What's also really great, the camera setup is lends itself really nicely to a very customized camera user interface. Like I said, one wide angle camera, no optical image stabilization, no autofocus on the wide angle, one regular angle, which has both of those, image stabilization and autofocus. The focus is really nice and quick, and it is sharp as well. So I just took a very snappy picture. Oh, camera app has stopped. Not the best sign in the world, but hopefully I've still got that picture. No, that crashed the camera app. Oh, let's try that again. Generally, that's really funny. Like, I think it's just demo gremlins. I haven't had any forced closes in the 24 hours of using this. That was my first. And you can see this picture looks great. Really nice focus and blurry in the background. The camera options are also super extensive, and there's a really neat feature to pin your favorite camera mode to the main camera screen. So if I want to pin Pro mode, long press it, swipe back, and it's always going to be in my bottom left hand corner. Asus customizes the Pro mode extensively. You can shoot RAW, which is handy obviously, but everything right through to shutter speed. You can have up to a 32-second shutter speed, so stuff like light trails, very, very handy. You can see the on-screen spirit level right there. There's also an 8 megapixel front camera too, and if you're wondering what the shooting modes are: Auto, Beauty, Pro, Super Resolution, GIF animation, Panorama, Slow-Mo, and Time-Lapse. Super Resolution takes a massive photo. You keep your hand super still, it processes it, like basically just artificially creates a photo that's bigger than it really needs to be. And I've taken that picture. I'm in a hotel room now. We're actually at the launch event, and hopefully I can pull up a few details. That's how big is that? I think it's just the highest resolution picture it will go. So that's 8064 by 6048, 5.12 megabytes. Totally don't need that much resolution, but if you've got a really bright environment like I have here actually, and you want to get as much detail as possible, you can see it gets all the detail of the blanket right there. Jumping out of the camera, I think I've talked about it enough. It can also shoot 4K. I'll be posting a comparison with the V30 side-by-side video comparison, so watch out for that. But yeah, in terms of performance, winning, and in terms of storage, also winning, because it's got 64 gigabytes of onboard storage paired with that micro SD expandability. So you can get everything you're going to want on here, from games right through to videos, photos, 4K movies. Battery life, I've already said it, the 3300 milliamp battery is winning when you compare it with other devices of this screen size, and it's because of the Snapdragon 630 under the hood. The lower power demands are just excellent, and so 24 hours in, I'm super impressed, specifically with how long this thing lasts. Doubled up with an excellent dual rear camera. Yeah, enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, it isn't perfect. I would have loved if it had a more stock user interface, but the fact I've been able to swap that out with such ease, thanks to Android being so malleable, is a great thing. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Do you think £449 is too high an asking price for a device with a Snapdragon 630, or do you think, actually, practically speaking, you'd rather have the better camera and the really premium design, so you don't mind paying a little bit extra for that? I want to know what you think, and I also know what you want to see me test out on this phone. If you're not already subscribed, like I said at the very beginning, also subscribe to the channel. That helps me out like crazy. Thanks for watching BTech.